Mimamsa system has two divisions. The one is the Uttara Mimamsa, that is the interpretation of the philosophical part of the Veda, which was formulated by Sage Vyasa or Sage Badrayana, and that gave way to Vedanta philosophy, and Uttara Mimamsa is otherwise known as Vedanta Sutras or Brahma Sutras. The other is the Purva Mimamsa, that is the interpretation of the ritualistic part of the Veda, that was formulated by Sage Jaimini. He was the disciple of Sage Badrayana. And Purva Mimamsa is otherwise known as Jaimini Sutras, Karma Sutras, or Mimamsa itself. When we say Mimamsa philosophy, we always refer to Purva Mimamsa, that is the interpretation of the ritualistic part of the Veda. Mimamsa philosophy has a very clear methodology. They have 5 steps in their methodology, and their methodology is known as Adhikarana. The first step is the Vishaya Vakya itself, that is the verses or the statement from the Veda, directly from the Veda, that is known as the Vishaya Vakya. The next is the Samshaya, that is the doubt in the meaning of the Vedic statement. The third is the Purva Paksha, that is the objector's view. And the fourth is the Uttara Paksha, refutation of the objector's view. And the last is the Nirnaya. After argumentation, they come to a conclusion and they decide or they explain the correct meaning of that Vedic statement. So this is the format they have. This format is very clear and powerful that even sometimes the Vedanta scholars use this methodology to explain their Vedanta statements. One of them is, for example, Adi Shankaracharya. He used this format, this methodology to explain the Vedanta statements, and he used this methodology in his bhashyas, that is in his commentaries. Not only he, many more Vedanta scholars have also used this format, and even today the scholars who interpret the Vedic statements, they use this powerful methodology. So that's the methodology of the Mimamsa philosophy. The next is their source of knowledge. From where do they derive the source of knowledge? They derive the source of knowledge mainly from the Vedic statements, from the Vedic ritualistic part of the Vedic statements. That is known as the Shabda Pramana. They rely on the Vedic statements, and they also accept the reliable explanation of the scholars, that is the great acharyas, or the people who have experience in performing the rituals. So this is a Shabda Pramana. And then next they derive the knowledge from Pratyaksha Pramana, that is from direct perception. The third is Anumana. From when one is known, the other is known by the relationship of these two. Then the next source of their knowledge is Upamana, comparison. Comparison of their own experience, comparison of the experience with others. The next is the Anupalabdhi, perceiving the absence of something, that is Anupalabdhi. And the next is the Attapati. This is very famous and unique in Mimamsa philosophy. Attapati is pursuing something and coming to conclusion. For example, if a man is fasting for some days and if he grows fat, then anyone can presume that he is eating without anyone's knowledge. So that is pursuing something. That is Attapati. So these are the sources of knowledge of the Mimamsa philosophy. Now the concept of God according to Mimamsa philosophy is, they do not believe God as the supreme power. They don't accept it. But they do believe in the Vedic gods like Varuna, Indra, Mitra, Vayu, Agni, and there are many more Vedic gods. What they believe and what they're considered as Vedic gods are the part of the sacrifice or the yagna which they perform. They are just like accessories for the yagna. If a yagna or a sacrifice is done and if a particular Vedic god is propitiated through that yagna, then it is the duty of that particular god to give the result. The potency of the action itself gives the result. So it is not the favor of the god to give the result. They must give the result. Or it is not begging to God to get the result. The action itself must give the result. That is their concept of God. They don't believe in the Vedanta philosophy or the Jnana part of the Veda. They don't believe in Brahman. They don't believe in any supreme power. The action must give result. That is why they concentrate so much on dharma. The right action must give right result. So that's their concept of God. Another of their important concept is apurva. Apurva is, you can say, it is the bank of merits earned by a particular person. If a sacrifice or a yagna is done, then its result may sometime fructify in life immediately, or it may take some time. Sometime maybe it can prolong to the next birth also. But apurva will not fail. Apurva is the unseen result, adrishta bhala, earned by that person who performs the sacrifice. And so that is apurva. Apurva will not fail and it will definitely give result. And this apurva along with karma instigates a person to perform an action. So that's their concept of apurva. It is the bank of merit that is earned by performing action or sacrifice or yagna. Their concept of world creation and categories is different. They don't believe in the concept of pralaya, that is complete dissolution. What they believe is this world is eternal. This material world evolved out of the eternal atoms. So this world is eternal, and they do believe in the categories of the Vaisheshikas. Along with that, they add two more categories. That is the category of a Shakti, force, the force present in any substance. And they believe in Sadrishya, that is the similarity between two substances. So along with the Vaisheshika philosophy's categories, they add two more of this. So that's their concept of this world. They don't believe in pralaya. They believe that this world is eternal, and this world is evolved. This world evolved out of the eternal atoms according to the law of karma. Their concept of Atma is, they believe that Atma is eternal, but they believe in the pluralism of Atma. They believe that Atma is omnipresent. It is eternal, but they believe that the emotions of a person and the actions of the person belong to Atma. Emotions like happiness, sadness and all that, and activities like moving, sleeping, any other action, that belongs to Atma. What they argue is, that is why when the body is dead, all this is not seen in the body. It goes away with Atma. So it is the quality of the Atma. The actions and the emotions are the qualities of the Atma. That's what they believe. According to them, liberation or moksha is the prolonged stay in heaven. And moksha is not the result of the knowledge or meditation. Moksha is the result of exhausting the dharmic and the adharmic acts. If there are adharmic result and a dharmic result in a person, then definitely it will give next birth. So a person has to exhaust all his karmas, the right karmas and bad karmas. He has to exhaust all the karmas. Only then he can stay in the heaven for a prolonged time. So moksha, according to them, is not merging with Brahman, or it's not understanding the self. It is a prolonged stay in heaven. Mimamsa philosophy is entirely based on the Vedic statements. That's why I said that they derive their knowledge basically from the Vedic statements, that is the Shabda Pramana. But they differ a little from the Vedas. Their interpretation of the Vedas is a little bit different. And that's very natural in Hinduism. Hinduism gives a lot of place for the freedom of expression, for the freedom of thought, because it is the analysis or the interpretation of our own self. So there's a lot of space for the freedom of expression and the freedom of thought. So this is Mimamsa philosophy, or otherwise known as Purva Mimamsa. Thank you for watching.